Is that man dead?
Is everything in here confidential?
Everything but murder.
Then he's fine.
Welcome to TNN Entertainment. Today we're going to be looking back at the past 6 seasons of Adult Swim's animated sitcom, Rick and Morty, and reviewing the episodes we believe are the true highlights of the series. We will cover some of these episodes in detail, so spoiler alert is now in effect. Alright, let's dive in.
Now, Morty, what do you say, buddy? Will you hand me a screwdriver so I can finish my ionic defibrillator?
Sure thing, Rick. Here's a screwdriver.
All right, Morty, thank you very much. We got 1 screw turn, and 2 screw turns, and...
Season 1 doesn't lack for great episodes, but upon rewatch, this one definitely stands out. I think this episode sets up what Rick and Morty is gonna be like in future seasons of the show. There are major plot points in this episode, like Rick and Morty swapping realities for the first time and abandoning their family. This plot point will be expanded on in later seasons, and it's great to look back and see this is the episode where it all began. There's also a ton of funny moments in this episode, especially near the end, when Rick and Morty start to bury their bodies in the backyard. This is a hilarious sequence, and I definitely recommend you checking out this episode. But now let's move on to Season 2.
Okay, Morty, it's the purge, you know? Pushing old lighthouse keepers down the stairs is totally cool.
It's not cool, Rick. I'm not like these people. I can't run around chopping people's heads off one day a year and then sleep well the rest of the time.
I think most people agree that Season 2 is the best this show has ever been. There's a variety of episodes that could have been in this spot, but the one that gave me the most enjoyment is Look Who's Purging Now. I really feel like this episode is the show clicking on all cylinders. There's action, there's great comedy, and similar to Family Guy, Rick and Morty oftentimes references an idea or premise, like the purge, that ends up being made fun of in their episodes. Overall, a great episode and a really great season. But now, let's move on to Season 3.
The Vindicators say their job is to fight evil wherever it hides, but they don't pick the location you'll never hear them even mention, because to fight darkness is to fight yourself.
Oh, I know this. Dorian 5.
Crocubot, don't!
There's no other possible answer. My mechanical and reptilian logic are certain of it.
Huh. I'm seeing more croc than bot here.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little biased towards this episode, but funny enough, this is the first episode of this show that I ever watched, and what really made me become a fan of the show. There's a couple things I like about this episode. One being the Logic cameo at the end. Logic's one of my favorite artists, and I love to see him featured in this show. And he actually features Rick and Morty in his album too. You should definitely go check it out if you never heard of him. And then 2, superheroes. I'm always up for like a subversion of the superhero genre, especially with all the superhero content that's out right now. And I think this episode does a really great job of that. I could have went with an episode like Pickle Rick, which is an obvious choice for most people for this season. But I really think this episode holds a special place in my heart, and this gets my vote for the best episode of this season. So let's go ahead and keep going with Season 4.
Well, I thought it was cool. So, we should be in and out, simple exchange, not even really an adventure, and if anything goes wrong, which it won't, jump into the same vat of acid I jump into.
Okay, wait, what? What vat of acid?
What, Morty, close the door.
Now we're starting to get into the most recent seasons of the show. This season came out during the pandemic, and I think you can kind of see a drop of quality with the show starting with this season. Even so, I really think this episode is classic Rick and Morty. You can start to see the growth in the characters because now Rick values the opinions of Morty and his family members and goes to incredible lengths to actually prove that his idea is a good one to Morty, showing that he's not so closed off and cynical as he previously was. Like I said earlier, definitely not my favorite season, but it ends on a high note with the season finale. But let's keep on going with Season 5.
I don't want to kill us, Rick.
Them or us, Morty. I don't trust me. Do you trust you?
Yes?
Freak. Before you say anything, they were already killing each other.
Well, you could have done something.
Not sure, actually. I've heard stories about this. We're looking at a possible Asimov cascade.
I've heard mixed reviews about this episode, and honestly, I don't really know why. The interactions amongst the family are hilarious this episode, as well as them realizing they are decoys. And we get to see some obscure versions of Rick this episode, which I've definitely found very bizarre. Some other picks I was considering putting at this spot for Season 5 are the last 3 episodes. I really think the last 3 episodes of this season are strong, especially the season finale when we finally get to see Rick's backstory. I enjoyed this season slightly more than Season 4, but let's finish it off with Season 6. Continuing my I Like Superheroes theme, this episode features Rick becoming Pissmaster, the hero we all deserve. Another growth episode for Rick, as we actually get to see him ignore his villains this time instead of taking them on head on, with advice from the GOAT, Dr. Wong. I know I was up and down on Season 4 and 5, but Season 6 really felt like a return to form for the show, and I can't wait to see what Season 7 has in store for us next time. But with that being said, we have reached the end of this video. If you made it this far, please consider leaving a like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.